Under Michigan's new no-fault auto laws, you need to make sure you have liability coverage in case of an accident. Tom Sinas is here now to talk about why that coverage is so important and the risks of each option. So let's start with those options, Tom. What are they and what do people need to know about each?
So Doug, over the last few weeks, we've been talking about the various choices people have to make. And what we're talking about today are choices people have to make regarding their liability coverage. And what is that again? Well, that is coverage that people purchase that is intended to protect themselves financially if, heaven forbid, they cause a motor vehicle accident and injure someone else. So the big change here has to do with the amount of liability insurance that people are required to keep at a minimum. The minimum levels had not been changed for many, many decades. They were very low, $20,000 per person and up to $40,000 per accident. Well, under the new law, there's a new default minimum amount of liability insurance, and that is $250,000 per person, not to exceed $500,000 per accident. That's the default principle of the new law. There is a provision in the new law, however, that allows people in writing to opt out of that default and take their liability coverage down to as low as $50,000 per person, not to exceed $100,000 per accident.
Yeah, and of course, Tom, with each of these comes a pretty big amount of risk if it's something that you decide that you want to do. What are the risks associated with each?
So the whole risk profile for liability coverage has changed because of the new law, and for one basic reason. We've talked over the last few weeks, Doug, about the fact that people when it comes to their no-fault coverage that provides their medical expense coverage, people can choose to purchase less than unlimited coverage. What does that mean for people on the liability side? Well, it means that if, heaven forbid, they cause an accident and hurt someone, and that someone has less than lifetime no-fault coverage, then the person who causes the accident is liable to the victim for their medical expenses. So for the first time since 1973 in Michigan, we drivers in the state are liable for a victim's medical expenses. And that has not been true since the No Fault Act was passed in 1973. And that is why in the statute, people are urged to take their liability coverage up to $250,000, not to exceed $500,000. But why I offer the suggestion that people should consider taking their liability coverage higher than that if they can afford to do so, because all of us now carry more risk than we did before this law was passed.
Right. It's easy to see. It's all about risk, Tom. So thank you for the insight. Where can people go if they want more information on this?
Well, they can go to our website, www.sinusdramus.com. We've prepared a free document entitled Making Smart Choices. It's designed to give people the information that they need to make a smart choice when it comes to these no-fault and liability coverage decisions that we're all going to be making. They can also send us an email at info@sinusdramus.com or give us a call in West Michigan at 616-301-3333.
All right, Tom, we appreciate your insight today and throughout this entire series. We certainly hope it helped people. Thanks again.
Thanks, Doug.